Today's episode of Inside Gaming Daily is sponsored by you, being a responsible adult and not driving if you're under the influence in any way.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Inside Gaming for Friday.
Friday, it's week, 3-day weekend. Yes!
Praise the Lord.
Clears the sinuses every time.
So ever since it launched earlier this week, World of Warcraft Classic has taken the world by a literal storm.
Yeah, it's weird. Apparently everyone really missed 2004 because gamers have been flocking to play the old school version of the legendary MMORPG.
Yeah, and they've been watching others play as well. The game is still #1 on Twitch. The last time we checked this morning, with more than 320,000 people watching.
That's right, we got a phenomenon on our hands, and this is Inside Gaming. So we did our reporting. We actually reached out to Blizzard and got some exclusive commentary from the developers to check in where the game's at and where they'd like to take it. So stay tuned for that.
Spoiler, they like money.
Yeah, the popularity of the game is pretty ridiculous. Turns out all the kids want to see what it was like when their grandparents played video games.
Ouch. There's even a contest among various top players to see who can hit level 60 first. That's
right.
Fun.
Yeah,
a gentleman's game.
So one streamer, Jokered, is already to level 50, which is ridiculous, but by the time you watch this, who knows? Somebody could have already hit level cap at 60.
We do live in a society, so rise up.
Yeah, bottom text.
But who will be the first guild to implode because someone lost a role to Thunder Fury, Brian? How?
Please tell me we have like Discord blowups soon, right?
I miss guild drama so much, and now that everyone's streaming everything, we can watch it in real time.
Everything was fine until the girl joined.
You shouldn't be using Discord, you should be using Ventrilo.
Or TeamSpeak.
Hit me up on AIM.
Yeah, here's my TeamSpeak, bro.
Oh, that one hurt. Of course, there's been the usual hiccups as well. Players have still been reporting on long queue times just to log in.
Just play on the server no one else is on. Join me on the RP server. Enter Hasadun. Oh no, wait, that's StarCraft.
Yeah.
Last night it looks like Blizzard did something about it. In a forum post, a Blizzard community manager announced that they're adding server capacity in a big way.
Yeah, they wrote, quote, with hotfixes that we are currently deploying to all WoW Classic realms, we are substantially increasing the number of players that can be simultaneously logged in and playing. We expect this to result in smaller queues for realms that have large queues, and some realms should no longer have queues at all. Queues, more queues.
Queues. That's good news, and hopefully it'll meet the demand. I mean, the real 2004 solution is that you just have a DS right next to your computer, so that while you're waiting to log in, you can play whatever.
Oh, a Nintendo DS. I thought that was code for something.
No.
I am having the flashbacks of all my friends moving into an apartment together, me hanging out with them, and then they're all playing World of Warcraft in different rooms.
Yeah.
And then I went, I'm gonna play Xbox, is that okay? And then they said, that's fine.
Yeah.
But then they walked down and said, can you turn it down, please? We're trying to do this raid.
Trying to do Halo 2 on Legendary. Sorry. So did this catch Blizzard off guard, and what are their plans for the future? These are the questions we had, so we actually interviewed the game's director over email and got some answers. That's right, Inside Gaming is right to the source.
Wow, tell us what happened, Brian.
So this all came from Ian Hazakostas, who is the director of Classic WoW. First up, we asked if the response exceeded their expectations. He said they were blown away by the community's enthusiasm and said it was humbling to see the appeal of the game 15 whole years after it launched.
I imagine Ian sat down at his computer the day after it launched, logged in, and then his monitor exploded in a shaft of light. Of course, people have been asking for a vanilla version of WoW for years now, to the point where it basically became a meme, mostly because Blizzard kind of condescendingly told them it's not what they actually wanted. But this response has shown that that wasn't just hype, there actually was a demand, at least this month. That remains to be seen if it lasts, but we'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah, I mean, we asked about adding extra server capacity to meet the demand, and what did they say, Brian?
So Hazakostas responded that they did have a hunch early on that it might be something pretty big based on players' reactions to the announcement and their ongoing excitement since then. So they had an idea. This didn't come completely out of left field.
But he said that they've been trying to play the long game when it comes to adding realms because those communities that build up over time are such a central part of that experience.
It also costs money to spool up a lot of servers that aren't getting used. I think there's a weird gap split there too. If you overinvest in server capacity, then you're stuck paying for all these computers you're not using. And I imagine it's not easy to just scale back down.
Hazakostas went on to say, we want to ensure that every realm remains a thriving community over the months to come, and that meant being careful not to release too many servers at once and risk having underpopulated ones down the line.
I'll buy that, because yeah, you need the economy to run, you need people to be able to do raids with and stuff. No matchmaking, that wasn't in Classic. You just get to hang outside the entrance shouting all day, who needs a healer? I'm pretty good.
I guess you go on a forum, right, and go, yo, meet me here. I will blow you for a mount. So that meant that they kept a big reserve of servers ready to bring online as needed once they were certain that they needed them to meet the demand.
Also because it costs money to, anyway, I'm just saying.
They have money.
It's probably both, but whatever. And that demand was definitely there. Over the last few days, he said they've been bringing, quote, dozens of new realms online as quickly as players can fill them.
Yeah, he added many realms do still have login queues as large communities want to stick together, but we have worked to ensure that there are always available realms in each region that have no queue.
Yeah, all that makes sense. It's such a weird issue because especially when PvP servers start coming around, he's right. All these major pre-existing communities all want to move on to the same servers. And these can be like thousands of people strong. It's a tough thing and it's not necessarily something Blizzard can fix just by buying more servers.
Just if you're gonna hold a vigil or a funeral for a friend, don't do it on a PvP server. We've seen that go horribly wrong.
cannot wait.
That has to have been staged, right? That wasn't real.
I don't think that was staged. So that's Blizzard's side of things. The Blizzard knows there's going to be a big initial spike in interest, and there definitely was.
They haven't released actual player numbers, but if you look at Twitch traffic, the game spiked to 1.1 million viewers on Monday night. Those are the kind of numbers that you usually only see for like really big special events or gaming tournaments.
Or a DJ cross gaming event, whatever.
Marshmallow plus Fortnite
Yeah.
equals numbers.
Since then, the viewership of WoW Classic on Twitch has dropped off, like all games do. You know, nothing's #1 forever. It's still the #1 game on Twitch with hundreds of thousands of viewers.
So what's Blizzard doing now, Brian?
Well, they're basically having to play a balancing game of meeting that demand, but not releasing too many servers, like you said, and then have them become ghost towns in a few weeks if people lose interest. Like, I want to go to Ironforge and gank Alliance, but I can't do that if there are no Alliance there.
You can gank the tumbleweed. You can gank the NPCs. That's always
not as
terrifying.
fun.
The good news for Blizzard here is that MMOs are legendary for being addictive. So if people get hooked on WoW all over again, they might need all those extra servers.
So that actually brings us to our next big question for Blizzard. What is their content plan moving forward?
Yeah, did we really just roll back the clock? Are we gonna do Burning Crusade in a couple of years?
Yeah.
Hazukosta said that they're planning what he called a staged rollout of the major systems and content from the original World of Warcraft. So yes, we are sort of just following the same steps because it worked before. Right now, players are in a world that closely resembles WoW as it was in early 2005 at the beginning of its patch cycle.
What he called the, quote, first major unlock is coming this fall. That will add the Dire Maul dungeon as well as the PvP honor system.
Oh my gosh.
Remember those guys?
Yeah.
Please. I was a spaceman shooting
You didn't
things.
get any raids added to your game.
Getting laid by my left hand.
Okay, Brian and I were playing Final Fantasy XI, so we were the real losers. What's coming after that, Brian?
So after that, they're going to have phases that will include major raid zones like Blackwing Lair, Naxxramas, as well as PvP battlegrounds like Alterac Valley or Arathi Basin. So they're coming. Meanwhile, they're also going to add new rewards like the Epic Dungeon Armor sets, as well as major events like the opening of Gates of Anaj Quarry or the Scourge Invasion.
God bless Brian for saying all those things out loud.
He knows how they sound. So Hazukosta didn't give a timeline yet for those, but he did say we'll be pacing out these releases to ensure that players have new goals to work towards and challenges to overcome, but also don't feel overly rushed and can enjoy each step of the journey.
Bullshit. That's not what WoW Classic's about. It's about killing yourself and then hating the game.
I wonder if I'll have another friend who fails out of college to play WoW like I did in 2004.
If WoW Classic doesn't put a dent in the American GDP, there's a problem. After all of the content calendars run its course again, it sounds like it'll be up to the community what happens next.
Hazukosta said that they'll be watching and listening closely to our players who understand what they want.
I mean, that's probably code for people want more, we'll give it to them. Or people say, oh, I can't wait for Burning Crusade. And they're like, I guess we'll just do Burning Crusade now.
Your audience is like a crazy girlfriend. You have to know what they want before they want it and then not talk down to them because then they'll rip your balls off.
Yeah, you guys think you want it, but you don't. 1 million viewers. Oh, they did.
Yeah.
Oh. This is obviously a business, so if there's demand there, they'll keep adding content. And it'll be interesting to see how far they go in updating Classic. Will they eventually just launch Cataclysm again, or will they take a different path? Maybe they'll go further down the like hardcore Classic route instead of slowly bridging the gap between where WoW was and modern WoW.
Yeah, but that brings up the other interesting question. Will people then start demanding Classic 2.0?
Yeah.
So then we can start all over again.
Now there are 3 WoWs.
Yeah.
The game has definitely been good for Activision Blizzard as a company whose stock has jumped more than 6% since the game launched. As analyst Daniel Ahmad noted, it's currently at its highest level since November of last year. Activision's kind of been in the for a long time. So this is the first win they've gotten, and I want to say at least a year.
Yeah, and also investors love the fact that World of Warcraft is a subscription game, and to play Classic, you have to sign up. There's no trial, no free-to-play option. You've got to put $15 down a month.
It's old school. No one does that anymore.
To be fair though, things cost more now than they did back then, so I guess the relative value of $15 is less?
Yeah, it's like $12 now.
In 2004, I think gas was maybe $1, possibly $2 a gallon.
Movies were a nickel.
Yeah.
Boobies? Don't give strippers loose change.
Titties.
I've learned this the hard way. I don't need to leave, you leave.
Why are you covered in circular wealth? So could WoW subscriptions make a comeback? I mean, Ahmad thinks so, and I think it's verifiable. It just remains to be seen if they stick around.
Right, and of course it'll obviously take more time to see if WoW Classic is a legit hit or just a flash in the pan, but if it makes a comeback, maybe we'll see more subscription MMOs come out again. That will lead to some sort of game like Defense of the Ancients or something like that.
Something like that.
Final Fantasy XI Classic.
That's,
I don't want it.
no,
I don't want it. Final Fantasy XI Classic means you don't get to pick your server, which would be rad. So yeah, Brian and I would be there day one on different servers.
Us and a bunch of Japanese people who won't party with us.
Yeah, something but Chinese gold farmers and me and Brian.
Oh, so shy, so shy.
One quick mention at the end of the show here. Just today, Ashley Jenkins announced that she's leaving Rooster Teeth. She is tied to the history of this show and this channel in a pretty amazing way. She founded it as The Know.
Back in 2015, we were doing a version of Inside Gaming somewhere else, and then we came over and we worked on The Know, and Ashley provided that place for us to keep doing what we were doing. So we are eternally grateful and thank you for all of that, and we wish you the best.
Yeah.
Thanks for hiring me.
You stay out of this.
Today's episode of Inside Gaming Daily is sponsored by the National Highway Traffic and Safety Administration, who would like to ask you to please not drive impaired in any way over this holiday weekend. Yesterday, we carried this message to you guys, trying to make it so everyone stays alive and safe this holiday weekend. Basically throw out some statistics about how bad the issue can be. Today, let's hit you where it counts maybe a little more, the wallet. That's right. You could lose your job if you get convicted of driving under the influence. You could also get arrested and incur huge legal expenses, not to mention that it's just downright irresponsible to place yourself and others at risk because you, I don't know, didn't want to pay $20 for a ride share. So what can you do to prevent this from happening? Take steps before you go out. Make sure that there's a plan in place. Plan a safe ride home before you start drinking, and designate a sober driver or call a taxi. Just don't wait until you're rocked to make a decision that you'll probably regret later. And if you know someone who has been drinking, take their keys and arrange for them to get a sober ride home. They might be annoyed about it at the moment, but they'll thank you later, and if they don't, maybe they weren't your friend in the first place. That's right, I just youth pastored you. So we all know the consequences of driving drunk, but one thing's for sure, you're wrong if you think it's no big deal. It absolutely is, and they like to hit you with these rhymes. Drive sober, or get pulled over. So please, be safe this holiday weekend, be responsible. We're all sharing this big hunk of crap world together. We don't need anyone out there making it harder for anyone else. So thank you for your attention, and please do the right thing. Thank you for watching Inside Gaming, and have a safe weekend. Night, which had just a fraction of that, about 109,000 viewers.
Boo, take that. I'm sure this will be forever.
Your older brother's back, and he's ready to grind. Punch Fortnite in the back of the spine, like just like a little way too hard, but not so hard that you can really complain about it.
Watch out, little one. Cody's back, and he has half a college degree.
Cody's got a mullet, and he is mean.
This has been